Hey everybody, I'll give you a tour of the inside of Coach 1844. Press the button, let's go in. See the waterfall granite there. Give you the first initial impression here. I know my wife gave a brief video when we first took delivery back at Newell, but I'll go a little bit more in depth, tell you my thinking behind why we did what we did. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. I'm pretty happy, really happy actually. They really do a great job at Newell. Fantastic. Here's the first walkthrough, and I'll go back and start at the beginning, but you can see TV, powder room. In fact, let's close this door, and I love the pattern on the door. Pretty cool. Love the granite that lights up, the agate or whatever they're calling it. I just like the light that it gives off. Patsy Lowe paintings that she did for us. As you can tell, we're kind of into racing around here. King size bed. Washer dryer behind there. Got our big shower in here. I love the bench seat back here. And I'll give you the story behind why we ended up with this. And then all bidet toilets. So let's go up front and we'll talk about it. So initially, I told Nathan I wanted the biggest sticking TV I could get up front. So here we go. We got a 55. I don't like televators and things like that. Not that, they're bad things, whatever. I just like sitting on each couch and be able to look forward and look at the screen and what's going on there. And it's cool, man. And this is all running off my little Wi-Fi hotspot right here. It's pretty cool. Unlimited. And, it's got plenty of power. We're inside the warehouse right now. So obviously if we were outside, we'd have Starlink up and running and going. But hey, I can't argue with this. This thing rips just off that little teeny modem right there. Now, you can see the driver's seat has that inlay. And I wanted a greenish olive theme. So you can tell I like green from the outside, but I didn't want the bright green on the interior, of course. But we didn't want to be too in your face. We wanted subtle hints here and there. So the inlay on the seats up front are green. At the last second, man, I decided on the fabric on the couch. I wanted to originally go with leather because leather you can wipe off. If it gets dirty, you can clean it off. You spill something on it, you wipe it off. But when I sat on these, it was like, oh my gosh, this is so comfortable. And the color worked, Amber designed the coffee table, and it's green as well. Just a little hint. And of course, the padded top is green. And then the green seats in the dinette. So a little different. Always want to try to be a little different without being ridiculous. We've already gone ridiculous on the outside, as some of my friends would say. But, let's go to the cockpit. Up above, what's new for me anyway, is all the systems here Obviously, you know, you've got your slide, you got your air ride here, which is new for me, and then your N1 system all go, and then your buttons for the generator and that type of thing. Everything in here is pretty cool and pretty much standard business from before. However, we do have Apple CarPlay, which is cool. And it's playing off the iPhone that I have in my hand. The dash is cool, same that we're used to. But what I really like is the big screen here on the multifunction display. And, you know, a lot of it is the same, only larger than before. We had the same leveling page that we had, and the gauges info that if we wanted to load that. But this house screen is pretty cool, because what was always a problem is you had the iPad up here, and the buttons were so small you couldn't really adjust the living temperature while you're driving without getting it right. You're constantly pressing the wrong button. But you know, it is pretty easy to get to and press everything and operate volume, everything. There's a lot of cool pages on here. They got a new power system page. Show if your generator was running, you could monitor that, or you could start it, you know, from here, which is a lot nicer than trying to stand up in the driver's seat when you're going 70 miles an hour down the highway. But everything else is pretty much the same as what we're used to seeing. The camera layout. So but I like the big screen. And also you have the mount right here for your iPhone, you know, slides right on there and charges. So you can see if anybody's, you know, calling you or texting you, you can at least see it while you're going down the road. Also got a charging bay right there for your iPhone, which is cool. And you've got some power supply ports down here. Don't know if you can see it, but maybe you could. Anyway, it's there, and the same right there. Sorry for the fingers. Yeah, but it's all pretty much the same that we're used to. Passenger has the same controls over here. Now, you know, a lot of people like the cabinets above. Some don't. They like the visibility out, you know, at the huge windows that a Newell provides. A lot of the times people will have projectors up here, but I didn't want a projector. I've got a 55-inch TV right there. So, but I do like having all the storage up here. Here's my backup Wi-Fi, just in case. But I love the storage up here. Obviously you have storage in the coffee table, holds a lot. And you have storage underneath the couch. It's a jackknife couch. So, and those are pretty big storage areas, as well as underneath each chair in the dinette. You know, and I mentioned on my exterior videos that we did not go for a dishwasher. I'm the dishwasher. And what it did is it gave us a whole lot more room for hardware and things like that. You know, you have your drawer for silverware. Here's our plasticware, you know, our fine plasticware, as well as the controller for the invisible cooktop, which is really cool. Great idea. You know, all the other drawers. Our plates when we want to use them, for real, when we're stationary. So plenty more room for stuff. Even showing my trash and everything, boy, way to go. But you know, we got plenty of room for all the cook stuff that we need. Upstairs is kind of the same. Haven't even gotten to this yet, so you know, plenty more to go as far as storing stuff. I like the sink, love it. We talked about having a barn sink and you know, but you know, counter space is always such a premium that this is actually a smaller sink, and we accomplished a lot by getting a lot of counter space here. I went with these. One has hand soap, the other has dish soap. And when we get ready to go on our first big trip, which is still a ways off, I'll use the museum putty underneath them. And I'm just kind of experimenting on where I want to put them, They look pretty cool there, I think. Might go back here, but I don't know. That looks kind of dumb. But anyway, I'm going to play around with it and then come up with the final product. You can see the glass back here has got the windows that you can open by turning the knob right there. And I really wanted it because, you don't have a lot of glass area here. So visibility isn't really a premium here. But I wanted airflow. And the thing about a mid-entry coach is you have the screen door over the door. And you could open these windows and get some air moving through this thing. I didn't want to put a ceiling fan in because why in the world would I want to ruin the ceiling treatment that Amber came up with? It's just beautiful, man. And so it gives us a chance to get air coming through the coach and get some fresh air, as well as, the escape hatch in the back. So, we'll talk about that a little bit later. I have the pantry here. Let's pull out. So it's big and it's close. I like being able to go right, to the countertop. And that's different than what we've had before. We're Keurig drinkers, so I love the built-in with the Keurig accessory that goes with it. That way you can make a coffee just the way you want. And then our little coffee station here. Wine cooler / water cooler. My wife loves wine, so we'll have chilled glasses in there ready to go. And as well as when we get on our trip, we'll stock it full of her favorite Chardonnay. You got drawers here as well. Oh, there's my other fine paper china. Even got a storage up here. And one thing, this TV here, we can do a lot of things. I'm really getting, this is new, and I'm getting used to what the heck am I going to do with this. But I really want to have kind of a collage of our family photos that play a scene, one after another, and rotate on there, or put the fireplace that's roaring back there or whatever. But anyway, I'll get to that and make that thing all dialed in. We have the Fisho Paykel refrigerator. So it's not the GE. And I like it. We've got French doors at our home with our Viking refrigerator. And so I like it. The freezer's got plenty of space in it. Tons of storage in here with a plug back here. And you can convert it to a hanging closet if you wanted. Oh, snacks. You can tell it's a man cave. And, here's the door on the half bath. I'll just kind of backtrack here a little bit. We've got lots of plugs in this coach, just like on the exterior. I like lots of them. And we don't really put them through the dinette table anymore, but I got that under there. These here. And it's got USB and USB-C ports, as well as your typical other ports. Here, one up here. Like I said, gotta have options. I've got them under here, as well as they're under the counter. So we have lots of options when it comes to power. I'll take you to the bathroom here in the powder room. My bathroom, essentially. Yeah, and it's cool. It's tight. It's cozy. First time I've ever had a bidet that I owned. Been to hotels that, had them. But you know what? I'm really happy with it. It's a pretty nice feature, and I'm not going to get into details about that. But just to say, if you ever had one, you'll never go back the other way. I decided to put the toilet paper on the inside of the cabinet. That way it's out of the way. Otherwise, it's hanging on this beautiful wall. It's gorgeous. I'm not going to ruin that with a roll of toilet paper. And it's real handy right there inside. And one of those spur of the moment things, and it worked out. Here's the 65-inch TV. And it's beautiful. And we like to watch TV in bed at night. We go to bed early. So you get your Dateline, in your Dateline fix. But I love the way it turned out. And originally I wanted to see if we could put a camera on the outside of the skin and then project the outside onto this TV. But we just couldn't find a high quality enough camera that would get it done. So, priorities, there were a lot of things, there's compromises everywhere, right? And in the end, how bad did I want it on a scale of 1 to 10? Maybe a 3. So did I give it up? Yeah. And I'm not sorry for it. So there's things you just got to have, but in the grand scheme of things, how bad do you want it? And, I guess they could have done something, but the quality wasn't there, and they told me that, and I trust Newell's word. So anyway, I love that, and I love the TV here because the televator again takes away the storage that you have. I mean, it's great. These big, huge drawers, and we had this on our other coach, and we just loved the storage. Great hanging closet. I like the hanging stuff here instead of in the back bathroom. Got here, got your jammy there in case somebody's breaking the door down. We've got our green headboard behind everything. And also, what I didn't have before in the other coach was a linen closet. Now we can store linens up above here. This is where the projection TV went. I wanted to keep the storage up here, so, here it is. And now I've got plenty of linen and pillow and blanket and that kind of storage. Ceiling treatment. Just love it. God, just love it. So we come to the bathroom. Again, another... it's pretty nice, when you have to go, especially the ladies, you got a nice warm toilet seat. That's the first time I've ever had that. Spoiled. And we went with the Ascos, stackable. And, originally, I went with a floor plan with the shower here. And, we did the stackable back here somewhere. But in the end, we went and looked at a coach with the same size shower. And I came up to it and went, oh, man, this is going to be way too small. This isn't going to work. So we had to rework everything. And because, we wanted a big shower like we were used to having. So, this is nice, beautiful. Amber picked this tile out for us, and it just turned out beautiful. Quite a bit different than the rest of the coach, but God, what a great shower. Just love it. Nailed it as usual. And the lighted agate is really cool. And, when you turn on the bathroom light in here, it also, you can program it to where it will trigger the hot water pump so that you get the recirculated water in there. So you're not wasting water trying to, waiting for the hot water to get to the shower head. So it pushes it right to the shower head and it's ready to go. So, if you're dry camping, you're saving water. I love the escape hatch, especially, I've had to go primitive on these things. I know it's a kind of a safety thing here, but again, we're sitting on top of the engine and that thing creates heat. And I will, you know, prop this escape hatch up with a wooden spoon or something and then close the screen, you know, and it'll help evacuate the heat out of this room. I'll even close it off so it keeps the heat in there more. But anyway, love the interior. Hope you guys do too. Just in love with it. Don't know what I would change yet. You know, once we get it out on the road and you use it, you know, you write down your list and say, if I was to do it again, what would I change? Right now, I wouldn't change anything. Still got cabinets to fill up. But there you go. Coach 1844.